Before a storm has a name, there is a single movement. A message is read and not answered. An apology is postponed. A thumb hovers over a screen and then quickly pulls back. Most lives turn on these small hesitations. Every decision we make is constructed from 4 hidden dimensions. We filter the world through our attention. We weigh it against our values. We commit to an action, and we send a consequence traveling outward. If we zoom out from a single glowing screen to the sprawling data centers processing billions of interactions a second, the scale becomes overwhelming. Yet the exact same rules of thought govern both. We look at massive technological systems and assume they require a different kind of intelligence. But a complex problem is never one giant impenetrable difficulty. It is simply a collection of smaller relationships that have not yet been separated. Whether you are trying to untangle a private regret or figure out how an artificial intelligence network operates, you do not need to memorize the machinery. You only need to learn the hidden architecture of how a problem is solved. Look at this flowchart. It maps the strict boundaries between reality, data, and models. Reality is the full, messy, continuous situation happening around us. But notice what happens when we move to the next step. Data is not a miniature copy of the world. It is a highly selective record. The act of measuring reality inherently strips away nuance, context, and ambiguity. Those gaps represent what was ignored to make the math work. To manage what survives that filter, we use mathematical symbols. Letters in an equation are not designed to intimidate you. They are simply holding places, tools used to compress and carry quantities that change from one case to another. Computer code then takes that compressed mathematical thinking and makes it operational. It allows us to execute a specific logic thousands of times a second without fatigue. When that logic becomes dense and difficult to read, we use a technique called chunking. We take the messy block of information and divide it into 4 distinct parts: the input we feed it, the rule it follows, the output it generates, and the effect it has on the larger system. Writing code and organizing data are not acts of discovering perfect objective truth. They are acts of imposing human structure and intention onto a chaotic world. Once that data is structured, machine learning systems take over. Their sole function is to comb through those rigid numbers and identify repeating patterns. This diagram illustrates exactly how they do it. When an AI looks at handwritten numbers, it does not understand the concept of a 3 or an 8. It only recognizes the geometric structure, the specific arrangement of strokes and loops. Modern AI agents utilize these structural patterns to group similar items, retrieve past records, or generate the next logical word in a sentence. Notice the percentage next to the result. An algorithmic prediction is always a statistical guess based on past examples. It is a mathematical probability, not a finalized certainty about the future. A highly convenient system can still harm someone quietly if we treat its statistical guess as an absolute fact. That is why human beings must review the outputs and retain the authority to overrule the machine. Machines drink from a river of patterns. Humans drink from purpose. The algorithm can calculate the probability, but a person must bear the moral responsibility for the final action. We return to the individual. The thumb stops hovering and presses send. The entire procedural loop we just traveled lives inside that single movement. A human need prompted an observation. That information became a pattern. The pattern informed a decision, and the decision created an action. To accurately evaluate the consequence of that action, we use a 2-report review. This matrix separates the decision's process quality on one axis from the outcome's luck on the other. Since careful choices can meet bad luck, a fortunate result does not excuse a reckless process, and an unfortunate result does not invalidate a responsible judgment. Observe the facts, break down the components, question the assumptions, test the options, decide, and learn from the result. That exact mental blueprint governs writing a Python script, deploying a global AI network, and navigating a human relationship. We build massive systems to carry us forward, but technology will only ever be the engine. Human judgment must forever remain the steering wheel.